Dear students, welcome to the course of Entrepreneurial Finance. I am your course instructor Shehzad Khan, lecturer, Institute of Business Studies, Cohort University of Science and Technology, Hango campus. In today's lecture, we will talk about the startups from the idea to the business model. In our previous lecture, we talked about the sources of financing required for the new venture. So let's start. Our outline, it includes from the idea to the business model, right? How we can generate an idea and how that idea can be converted into the business model. We will talk about it. Then we will talk about it, the entrepreneurial opportunities to new businesses, products or services, right? And then we will talk about the sound business model, and its subheads are best practices of high growth, high performance firms. We will talk about it, and we will also talk about the venture opportunity screening. So let's start from the idea to the business plan or model. We know that every new venture begins with an idea. So it means that transforming the concepts in one's mind, which is called the idea, into a product or services that satisfy or create. So create what? Creating value for the customers and then satisfy a consumer need, of course, is the first step in the entrepreneurial process. According to researchers, only a small number of new business ideas become viable business opportunities with funded business plans, right? And further, they are saying that venture capitalists invest in only 1 to 3% of business plan presented to them. Our next topic, that is from entrepreneurial opportunities to new businesses, products or services. We will talk about it. So let's start, right? So entrepreneurial opportunities to new businesses, products or services, right? As we say that an idea, we have an idea, right? First we need to generate an idea for any kind of business, right? So the idea should have a potential to create value through new, repackaged, repositioned products, markets, processes or services, right? So it means that a well-designed entrepreneurial venture begins with an idea that survives an analysis of its feasibility and results in a business plan, right? According to the research, most of the entrepreneurs, they spend considerable time on identifying ideas, right? And how they are trying to identify the idea, that is from the social trends or changes, demographic trends or changes, technological trends or changes, or it can be from other sources. And then they are trying to conduct feasibility analysis, right, of that idea, right? Feasibility analysis, they are trying to check whether it is possible to convert the idea into a product or services meeting an unfilled need, right? So they are trying to check the feasibility report, or they are doing the feasibility analysis of that idea, and then actually they are trying to prepare the business plans. Then the next topic is the sound business model, right? So sound business model, right? A plan to generate revenues, make profits, and produce free cash flows. So according to this definition, there are 3 components of a sound business model, right? Which are, the first one, generate revenues, right? So a business should generate revenue, right? So it's an important component of ventures actually, right? That is actually perceived present and future value is its current level of revenues, right? as we know, like for example, which may be zero if the venture in its the development stage, right? As we talked about in our previous lecture, the stages of um, uh, development, right, for the new ventures, or at the beginning of its startup stage, right? So it can be zero, right, the revenue. So a good business model, it should generate revenue, it should make profit, right? The second one, the second component, right? The second component of a sound business model is after tax operating profits, right? So a sound business model is after tax operating profits, right? So a successful ventures cannot target sale growth alone, it must target growth in total venture profitability. The next one is produce free cash flows, right? Producing free cash flows, and it includes future ability to pay accumulated equity capital costs, right? And it actually means free cash flow to equity means what remains of profit after all investment costs have been subtracted, right? So like the growing firms typically need to expand their investments in inventories, facilities and equipments, right? So these three are the main components of a sound business model: generating revenue, making profits and producing free cash flows. Our next topic is the best practices of high growth, high performance firms, right? So some of the best practices of the high growth, high performance firm: the first one, the marketing practices, right, that they should adopt. Deliver high quality products or services, so they should deliver high quality products or services. The next one, develop new products or services that are considered to be the best. Offer products or services that command higher prices and margins, right? So they should offer such products. Develop efficient distribution channels, so the channels should be efficient. So our next slide is venture opportunity screening. Venture opportunity screening is actually assessment of an idea's commercial potential to produce revenue growth, financial performance and value, right? So it means that a venture seeking external financing should be subject to more formal feasibility analysis addressing qualitative and quantitative aspects of its expected growth and performance. Venture screening involves finding caterpillars, which means ideas, right, that are likely to become butterflies, that means more successful businesses or venture opportunities, right? Two stages approach to assessing a venture's viability, right? So that includes the first stage emphasis a qualitative assessment using a systematic interview with the entrepreneurial team, and the second stage involves applying a more qualitative and quantitative screen to help determine whether venture investors are likely to fund the metamorphosis, right? So if we assume that the interview indicates a potential butterfly, right, our second stage then involves applying a more quantitative screen to help determine whether venture investors are likely to fund the metamorphosis or not, right? So these are the two stages approaches to assess a venture's viability. These are the references that I use while making my slides. Thank you.